Hey folks, Mike Dawkins from Worldcast Anglers here with your Jackson Hole fly fishing forecast for the first weekend of October, the 1st and the 2nd. Nothing screams fall fishing like Yellowstone National Park to me. The Madison, the Firehole, the Lewis and the Lewis Channel and other areas of Yellowstone National Park start to come back on our radar for the fall fishing season, and for good purpose. The Madison and the Firehole, they get great hatches of blue-winged olives, caddis. You know, there's a lot of fish getting ready to come up out of Hebgen Reservoir, brown trout, and even some early spawn rainbows where you can run into some pretty good sized and above average fish in a smaller stream like the Madison. The weather is cool, the leaves are changing, the wildlife is out. There's no better place and no better time to be fishing in Yellowstone National Park than the fall fishing season. Looking into this weekend, we've got some pretty traditional fall fishing weather that I think all of us have been excited about, because we had a pretty hot week. Daytime temps in the mid 80s. Nighttime temperatures weren't getting, really that cool at all. But looking into Saturday, we've got 53 and 38 with a really good chance of rain, and Sunday 59 and 36 and partly cloudy. So that means streamer fishing, that means baetis, mahoganies, small dry fly fishing and recirculating eddies, softer water, swinging soft tackles and streamers on places like the Madison and the Firehole, and look for the snake and other areas to really kick into high fall fishing gear with this upcoming weather. Palisades Reservoir, 12% of capacity. Jackson Lake, 17% of capacity. We're seeing the last little bits of the Snake River drawdown come down these next couple days, with water managers wanting the Snake at 280 CFS, which are the winter flows, by the first couple days of October. So we're almost there. So looking at the Madison, 349 CFS behind me, 261 CFS up there on the Firehole, above Madison Junction. As I was saying, look for the fishing in Yellowstone National Park to come into high gear coming into these next couple weeks. The fishing season ends the first weekend in November, so you've got a good 4 or 5 weeks coming up ahead of you for some great wade fishing opportunities in the park. Look for blue-winged olives and caddis to be your main hatches on the Firehole and the Madison, and also be looking for some of those brown trout coming out of Hebgen Lake and some of those early run rainbow trout to start their spawning journey, to get aggressive with streamers, things along those lines as fall sort of progresses in the area. So top to bottom, from Madison Junction all the way down, through Barnes Hole, Baker's Hole, and all of that other kind of stuff, it's prime time right now, so get ready and have a bunch of fun, especially with the weather that we're having coming up. The Snake in Jackson, as I was saying, that drawdown is happening now. 735 CFS coming out of Jackson Lake Dam right now. 2,530 CFS there on the lower river. The floats and the fishing will probably be pretty challenging on the Snake this time of year, especially during the drawdown. If you do find yourself, fishing the Snake, I'd probably concentrate with nymphs and streamers, maybe some dry droppers. I would expect the dry fly fishing to be a little bit challenging as water levels drop. The good thing is the Bureau of Rec heard everyone's voices in elongating the drawdown schedule, and it's not going to be as sharp or as short as it was in past couple years, to sort of help some of those fish get out of that side channel habitat and things along those lines. So look for those fish to get really settled in once the drawdown is finished, which will be at the beginning of next week. But the Snake can fish really well, in the fall fishing season. I'd look, like I was saying, for those streamers, those dry droppers, and those nymphing to be the most productive. The South Fork, 5,810 CFS there being discharged from Palisades Dam, 5,760 CFS there on the lower river. We're still seeing the South Fork fish really well, and I think it should only get better with the weather this weekend. We're getting to that point with Palisades Reservoir being 12% of capacity that we start to worry about clarity, turbidity, and sort of water quality. We haven't seen it happen yet, but we are this close to things sort of shifting that way, and what we do hope is that water managers start curbing off some of those flows coming out of Palisades Dam to start storing some water in Palisades Reservoir before we start getting some of that increased turbidity. Look for Baetis, Mahoganies, and the leftover Hecuba here and there to be your hatches of choice on the South Fork of the Snake. And as I was saying last week, look for those fish to be moving out of their summer water. So the fast riffly stuff, they'll probably be moving out of that and into some of those recirculating eddies, softer water types, and things along those lines when those water temperatures have cooled down and they don't have to be in that highly oxygenated cool water like they do in the summertime. I'd get the streamers ready, the sink tips, all of it this coming weekend with those temperatures and that rain, and it should be pretty darn good fishing on the South Fork. As I was saying last week, we're starting to see the Teton and the Henry's Fork come back online for the fall fishing season. The Teton 221 CFS around Driggs, 362 CFS down there on the lower river. Flows are low, flows are very clear, water temperatures have cooled off, but I would be ready with some of those Baetis, Mahoganies, and Hecubas, dry droppers, and even some small streamers on the Teton. The Henry's Fork, 395 CFS up there in the box, 864 CFS there on the lower river. Similarly to the Snake in the South Fork, we're expecting some drawdown coming out of the Henry's Fork as irrigation demand sort of diminishes out through the season. The box has been fishing really well with nymphs, but it is getting low and it's getting bony. We've actually had a couple people, start grabbing rafts instead of drift boats in there. But your rubber legs, zebra midges, tactical nymphs, pheasant tails, and all that kind of stuff can be really good. The ranch has been fishing really well with Mahoganies and Baetis these past couple days, especially with the overcast weather, and this weekend will be prime time for the ranch up there. And then the lower river, I would expect it to turn on this weekend with the cooling weather, the overcast, the rain, the drizzle, and I would be ready with those Baetis and those streamers there. So all in all, our fall fishing season is progressing really nicely. I know it was pretty tough earlier this week when it was really hot and it's really dry, but the overcast in areas like the Madison and the Firehole and Yellowstone National Park and the fall colors shining are rejuvenating all of us here in the greater Teton Valley and Jackson Hole area for our fall season ahead. It's been a long, hot, dry summer, and getting the waders and the fleece and the rain jackets and all that other kind of stuff out while the summer crowds start to diminish is just a blessing to us in the local area, because as I've been saying, nobody loves fall more than us in the greater Jackson Hole region. So the Fly Shop, we're still open 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. there Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 on Saturday, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. going on Sunday. As of October 1st, we're going to go to our fall hours of 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, and then some shorter hours on the weekend. So that's all that I have this week. Looking forward to some great fall fishing this weekend. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you here next week.